Saul Kirsch here with Double Alpha Academy, and I'm here to show you and give you some information about the Shotmaxx 2. The Shotmaxx 2, like the Shotmaxx, is a sound and recoil activated shot timer. This device is used by shooters either in training or in competition to give them the start signal as well as pick up and record each and every shot fired on the range. It is used for training as a very important aid to help you figure out how well your performance and how your techniques are working for you. The Shotmaxx 2 has been on the market since early 2017 and it has several meaningful improvements over the original Shotmaxx. The first change that we made was increasing the sound and the volume of the buzzer quite considerably. That was the #1 comment that we received on the previous model. People mentioned they loved the device but they wanted it to beep louder. Difficult to achieve on such a compact shot timer, but we increased the sound, we increased the size of the sound chamber, inserted a larger, more powerful buzzer, increased the battery capacity to support that buzzer, and increased the amount of hours you can use the timer for continuously, as well as making additional improvements to the device. This Shotmaxx 2 includes string memory. You can scroll back through a maximum of 9 strings, 99 shots per string, and that enables you to review, useful during practice, also helpful in some competition situations. An additional improvement to the battery, the buzzer and the string memory was a new algorithm and dual channel route for the audio and microphone performance. This increases the active range of the device and allows it to offer increased performance both in the ultra-sensitive airsoft range but also with the larger calibers, and gives you a more correct and wider range of adjustability for the microphone's performance on various shooting ranges where you may want to be using it. There are 2 different displays available on the Shotmaxx 2, either the white display or the black display. It's really a personal choice which one you prefer. The performance is the same, the features are identical. The black display perhaps offers a sleeker appearance, but the white display will be easier to read and offer better contrast. Would be recommended for low light and indoor applications, but if you plan to use it outdoor in the sunlight, both of these displays will be equally legible and you can choose based on which color you prefer. So I'd like to review some of the features and give you a basic overview of how this product works and what the capabilities of the Shotmaxx 2 are. When you begin to use the device, the upper left button is your main toggle between the 3 main modes of the Shotmaxx 2. The first mode, being the watch mode, is where you will display the time and date. You have all of the settings using the set button, the lower left button, to adjust the time, to adjust the date. You have an active alarm that you can program and use. And it gives you a battery indication of what the level of the battery is. The battery icon will also flicker on the main screen should you need to charge it. The final display here will give you information about the version of the software which is installed on your Shotmaxx. The software can be updated by the user if a new version becomes available or any kind of bug fixing is required. The next mode is your timer mode. Now this is the mode that you'll be using when you're out on the range and using the timer as intended, as a shot timer. If I press the start button, you'll see the countdown running there, and coming up will be the beep. The timer is currently set to the accelerometer sensor, which means that the shot is being detected mostly through vibration, but also in conjunction with the audio. Each time a shot is picked up, the upper display will show the overall time of the last shot recorded. The lower display toggles between the number of shots recorded, in this case 2, and the time of the first shot, in this case 390. As I click on the timer and record additional shots, you'll see the overall time is updated. It now has 7 shots recorded. First shot, of course, remains 390. At any point, should I want to review, I can click the review button, in which case the upper display shows me the shot that I'm looking at. The lower display shows me the shot that I'm at plus the split time between that shot and the one before it. So as I click through now on shot number 3, I can see that my split time between shot 2 and 3 was 14.35. So this functions very much in the same way as any timer that you may be familiar with. Some of the settings that you have access to on this mode will tell you all about how this timer is used. Your delay setting allows you to select either an instant delay, which means that the timer will beep as soon as you push the start button, useful for range officer applications, not so much for training. The fixed delay will give you a fixed 3-second delay between the start button and the beep. The random delay will give you a random between 1.5 and 5 seconds, good for training. Custom delay can be programmed for any amount of time that you choose to have a custom delay between your activation and the start. I'm going to put that back to fixed and move on to my next option, which is par. I have the option of setting a par here, which will give you a secondary beep, useful for training applications. If you want to, for instance, measure the time of your draw or your reload or your transition, you can set the par delay as you can on other timers. The auto start feature is simply a safety feature to prevent accidentally restarting the timer prematurely if you're running a shooter on a stage. If the auto start is set to on, you will need to press the review button at least once before beginning a new string with the start button. That can be turned on or off. The type of beeps available to you, there's 3 different types. You can toggle between them on the right buttons. Different frequency, that would be type 1, type 2, type 3, and then within each frequency, 7 different levels of volume, which will allow you to set the volume which best suits your application. If you're dry firing at home, you may want to turn the volume way down. The type of sensor that is in use, and this is a unique feature to the Shotmaxx 2 timer. All other timers on the market work only with a microphone. Now the microphone is all good and well if you are the only shooter on the range. If you're practicing and alongside you there are other shooters shooting nearby, it may be impossible for you to pick up only your shots. And that can be a problem when you're training and you want to record only your performance. The accelerometer, when selected, creates a situation where the Shotmaxx is looking to pick up not only the shot, but also to sense the motion of the recoil. And it will only pick up shots when you are actually physically wearing the watch and holding the firearm as shooting. It doesn't have to be on your strong hand, it can be on your support arm, but you must have your support hand on the gun. It'll pick up only your shots and disregard all other shots fired on the range. Sensitivity levels can be set. Maximum would be what you would usually use for airsoft application, and you can turn that way down to number 1 to minimum, which would be the lowest level application. One word that I'd like to mention here about the display. This is a 7-segment display, which means that in some cases, some letters will be displayed in a manner, a character, which is different to what you would normally see. For instance, if you look at that minimum there, the M is displayed only using a few segments and not as a complete font. Some customers who receive this think it's a defect in the display, but it isn't. It is really a standardized way of displaying characters, letters, on a 7-segment, which is originally designed for numbers. So it's easy to read once you get used to looking at it this way. It's not a defect in your Shotmaxx. Sensitivity set to minimum would be in a situation where you're recording on a noisy range perhaps, which has a lot of echo, using a very large caliber firearm. Usually you would be using the device somewhere in the 3 to 5 level of sensitivity for any pistol caliber which you may be using. The filter feature creates a minimum delay within which shots can be detected. If you set this filter down to say 006, you're telling the device to ignore any shot that is recorded faster than 7/100ths of a second. This is there to filter out echoes, which in some shooting ranges can be very misleading and difficult to filter out through the microphone algorithm. But since we know that we're not shooting any real splits which are faster than 7/100ths of a second, if your shooting range tends to throw up echoes which are 5/100ths of a second, you can set the filter there to 007 and all those echoes would be effectively filtered out and not be recorded as shots. You can turn that way up to 12/100ths of a second. However, be aware that if you're shooting very quickly, you may actually be firing shots faster than 12/100ths. You have full control over that. Spy mode. Now the spy mode is another unique feature to the Shotmaxx 2 timer, and it's there to enable you to use the device when shooting in competition to record your own time on the stage. When you select the spy mode, you also have the option to select a reaction delay. And the way you would use this device is, as you load and make ready, you would press the start button and you would have a few seconds. The timer will give you 3 seconds to position your hands in the start position. For instance, flat on the table, if that's the start position on the stage. The timer will then activate when you move your hand to draw the gun. So you as the shooter will respond to the RO's timer beeping, and as you move your hand towards your pistol, that motion using the accelerometer sensor will activate your Shotmaxx timer, will start counting and record all of your shots during the stage. Of course, it will not beep because you are not the official timer and you are not allowed to be beeping on the stage while the RO is holding the official timer. This will enable you to shoot through the stage and then leave with information about all of your transitions, all of your split times, information that you may want to have for your training or for your other shooting partners. You can turn the spy mode on and off and set the spy delay to compensate for your reaction time. Once you know your reaction time is roughly 1/10 of a second, as you respond to the RO's beep, you can fine-tune that to get a more realistic and correct overall time. There will always be a slight difference because your reaction time may not be completely consistent. So those are the setting options that are available to you in the timer mode. The third mode which is available is the stopwatch and countdown mode, and this is a basic mode which allows you some additional features which may be handy on the range. You have a multi stopwatch which will allow you to record laps, useful for instance, collecting information and measuring the performance of swingers or activators on the range. And you have different modes of countdown, a 3-minute and a 5-minute countdown, useful for ROs giving a walkthrough time on the stage. So that is an overall review of the features which the Shotmaxx 2 offers. I can do a short demonstration on how this accelerometer will perform with an airsoft gun. If we set our sensitivity, we're going to select the accelerometer. We're going to put the sensitivity up to airsoft maximum, and we will look to record shots. Countdown, beep. Now the timer is waiting for shots. I have my trusty airsoft pistol here, and I shall try to record a shot by firing once. You may have noticed that nothing was recorded. The reason nothing was recorded was, even though the gun is perfectly close enough to record the airsoft, the sensor which is selected is the accelerometer. Therefore, I can fire multiple times, but the Shotmaxx is not picking up any shots. If I put that watch on, so we can try that again, now holding the gun in the hand that's wearing the Shotmaxx, we should be able to pick up shots with the airsoft gun. Multiple shots recorded, there were 6 recorded there, and those shots were picked up because the watch is being worn by the shooter who's holding the gun. That's a demonstration of how effective the accelerometer is in airsoft, and it works even better with the big bore caliber. So this is the Shotmaxx 2 timer, has some very unique features that no other timer on the market offers. If you're ever shooting on a busy range but you still want to record only your shots, this is the only device out there that'll do it. The entire watch weighs only about 60 grams, lightweight, very easy to wear as you shoot. You don't have to worry about putting down your timer, forgetting it on the range, leaving it on the table as you go to the firing line. You simply put it on as you go to shoot, and you have your timer right there with you. The Shotmaxx 2 is available now from Double Alpha Academy.